Hello to all our CA intermediate students attempting the May 24 exams. This video is specifically to address all your questions pertaining to the paper of Advanced Accounting in the new syllabus under May 24. So there are a lot of questions because there were earlier two papers of accounts which now becomes one single paper with 30 marks of MCQs without negative markings. There are some topics which have been removed, some topics which have been added. How do we cover them up? Will we get notes, lectures, everything? This is for all the students, whether you have taken classes from us or not, for everyone. So first of all, now you have 100-mark paper having 30 marks of MCQs, and then the remaining 70-mark paper would be your main paper. So that would be 14 marks each question into 5 questions that you have to attempt, that is 70, and there will be a separate 30-mark MCQ paper. So for the main paper of 70 marks as well as for the MCQ paper, which are the topics which have been included and what has been excluded. So as you can see, thankfully there is a fairly big list of topics which have been excluded. I'll share this PDF file as well as all the attached notes as well on the Telegram channel. So the link for the same is in the description. You can refer that if it helps. So if you look at your syllabus, the topics which continue to be applicable for May 24 are largely all the accounting standards, all of them which were there in your accounting paper 1, advanced accounting paper 5 earlier are still applicable in your May 24 exams, all accounting standards. So institute has increased its focus significantly on accounting standards. So please don't take them lightly. Now there are 3 modules. If you go to see, out of the 3 modules, two of them are dedicated to accounting standards, and then the third module which is linked to certain topics which also are in some ways based on the accounting standards only. So like your final CA, which was largely based on Ind AS, your inter CA is also going in the same direction. They're equipping you to handle all the accounting standards properly so that you can manage the company's audits and accounts where Ind AS is not applicable. So it's a very welcome and a very good change in your syllabus. So please do have a lot of focus on your accounting standards. Now, apart from the accounting standards which were there in paper 1 and paper 5, there are around 5 new standards that have been added. Most of them are a little complex. So the new topics, there are 5 specific topics that have been added. 3 are separate accounting standards and 2 of them are linked to consolidation. So you will have AS 15 employee benefits. Now this is a fairly complicated standard, but it should be fun learning. Then there is AS 20. AS 25 first on interim reporting. This is a fairly easy standard. If it comes, it's fairly scoring. And another interesting standard of AS 28 on impairment of assets, which you should study after you study fixed assets, intangible assets, etc. So these are 3 new standards, independent, and there are 2 standards which are linked to consolidation. Like you have subsidiary consolidation, which was even earlier applicable and still continues to be applicable. But additionally, you'll have 2 separate entities called as joint ventures or associates, that is companies where you have 20% or more up to 50% stake. How do you account for joint ventures or associates, let us say, in your consolidated financial statements? So for that, there's a standard of AS 23 and there's a standard of AS 27. Both of these are linked and to be studied in addition to your consolidation. So first we understand subsidiary consolidation well, and then we go further to understand the associate and joint venture consolidation. So these are the only 5 topics, that are getting added explicitly within the topics framework. So these are the only new topics that the institute has added. For these new topics, we will be sharing separate notes to all of our students. These are open PDF files. We will be sharing that on our Telegram channel and WhatsApp channels as well where applicable. So over here, notes for the same can be shared quite soon, and I'll try to record lectures for these as well and share it with you by the end of January or February first week latest. So by then you should be in a position to kind of cope up with these additional changes. You do not need to explicitly buy lectures or take new notes merely because a new course is coming. Again, if you think that you had some conceptual flaws or gaps which you would want to address and you want to buy new books from any professor or any source that you are aware of, or from us, you can buy it, or any lectures, but that is if you have some conceptual gap which you want to address or some missing loopholes which you thought were there in the preparation earlier, which you want to address. But merely because the new course is coming, and merely because two subjects are becoming one, you don't need to buy the new lectures, new books or anything for the new topics which have been added, and also small changes within the existing topics. For example, when you look at the presentation of financial statements chapter, earlier you had the section of managerial remuneration. Now that section of managerial remuneration has been removed. So the smaller, finer details, we will share it with you, whatever it, if applicable, but trust me, there are no explicit additions. So you don't have to worry in the sense that will I miss out something? No, you will not. There are some places where institute has removed some things. There are no explicit additions. We have gone through that. So that way it is fairly easy. Majorly, these are the 5 additions that you have to focus on, for which we will share free notes as well as free videos for all the students. So till that time, if possible, you can try to complete the remainder of the accounts which still applies, and then the new topics can be covered separately. Now, sir, what is still applicable? You said all the accounting standards are. Yes, all of them, including the standards that we just discussed below, are applicable. Apart from that, everything which was largely linked to company accounts, like financial statements of companies, like this is a schedule 3 balance sheet, etc., fairly easy and scoring. This also includes the chapter of cash flow statement. So when you see the study material, the detailed cash flow statement chapter is still there. So you continue study the cash flow statement chapter, included in this. Buyback is there, fairly scoring. Amalgamation, internal reconstruction, consolidated financial statements. Now all of these, if you go to see, are linked to company accounts. These are linked to company accounts. The other 2 topics, if you go to see, are like applicability of accounting standards and framework of presentation of financial statements. So these were there earlier as well. They still continue to be there, relatively less important. So these are all company account chapter which are there. And the only non-company accounts chapter which is still continuing is accounting for branches. So you will definitely get a question on accounting for branches. So probably when you look at the paper pattern, there will be a question on amalgamation, internal reconstruction, 1 question on CFS, 1 question on branches. So if I on an average take around 10 marks even in the main paper, average, that will take care of around 40 marks over here. Remember, your main paper will be an 84 mark paper, not just a 70 mark paper, because there will be 1 question which will come along with the options as well. So again, there will be a fairly balanced mix. I would say approximately out of the 84 marks, approximately 40 odd marks will still continue to come from these topics, and the remaining 40 odd marks will come from accounting standards. When you go to the MCQ paper, in my opinion, a large part of the MCQ paper will be focused on accounting standards, because for internal reconstruction or amalgamation, you would not have dedicated large MCQs. Maybe there may be a few questions, but in my opinion, out of the 30 marks, I would easily put around 20 odd marks directly from the accounting standards, and around maybe 10 odd marks coming from the other section. So net, I would put on an average around 50 marks weightage to these chapters, including the MCQs, 50 to 55 marks, and then the remaining, I would say around 60, because your total paper would be close to around 114 odd marks. Around 60 to 65 marks, I would put weightage behind the accounting standards. So the weight behind accounting standards is a little more now, in my opinion, but again, it will be more clear when we see the paper. Maybe the institute will strive to have a 50-50 balance between the chapters and the AS, though AS carry 2 modules and the chapters now carry 1 module as of now. You can assume a 50-50 approximate weight between the 2. So sir, what is excluded? So we have prepared a list to be absolutely clear of the excluded topics. The accounting for employee stock option plans or share-based payments, so the ESOPs etc. section has been excluded. Liquidation of companies, though linked to company accounts, it is linked to liquidation, has been excluded, though the part pertaining to closure in realization account etc. of amalgamation still continues. Banking companies, some people would say that was relatively scoring, has been removed. Partnership accounts have been removed. Profit or loss prior pre-incorporation, accounting for bonus and rights, redemption of preference shares, redemption of debentures. I would say investment accounts per se as a separate chapter does not appear, but AS 13 on investment still remains. So you can use some of the questions which were there in the earlier investment accounts chapter for a better practice, because your investment accounts chapter was largely based on the AS 13 application. So that chapter like cash flow statement is still remaining as a separate AS 3 as well as a separate chapter in your study material. So that still carries a lot of weight. Investment accounts is no longer appearing as a separate chapter, so though AS 13 still remains. Insurance claims, thank God it is removed. hire purchase and installment transaction, departmental accounts, and accounting of incomplete records, that is single entry, what was sometimes cost, is also kind of removed. So for a change, the excluded topics are greater than the topics which have been added. We will also try to prepare a separate MCQ set, but to be honest, I don't think we will be able to release that before February or maybe March. If possible, we'll try to do it early, but otherwise that is the tentative timeline. Otherwise, you can refer the institute BOS in your board of studies student login. You will probably get some MCQs even behind the study material. They've given certain MCQs for practice. As a student, one needs to remember, for MCQs, the more you practice it is better, but your MCQ preparation is largely based on your core subject preparation. So if your core subject is good, your MCQs are going to help you more. They are going to help you complete the paper faster, and they're going to help you save and score more marks. Within your MCQs, sometimes you will get a single individual MCQ or maybe even a case-based MCQ, but they will generally not require a separate working to be done. You can do it in rough. Your marks will be dependent directly on the option that you select on your OMR sheet, for example. So we will give you additional guidance regarding the CA Inter MCQs as well, but this is your applicability. So there are 5 new topics: 3 AS, AS 15 employee benefits, AS 23 impairment, AS 25 interim financial reporting, AS 28 impairment, and 2 consolidation standards, AS 23 and 27 associates and joint ventures, which have been newly added. Apart from that, all accounting standards which were earlier there still continue. Most of the company accounts topics, amalgamation, internal reconstruction, consolidation, presentation of financial statements, cash flow statement, continue, and the only non-company account chapter that still continues is accounting for branches, and everything else that gets excluded, all the things which were not very core to you when you go up in your articleship, like single entry system or maybe a departmental accounts, all of those non-core topics, institute has reduced and relieved you, which is in a way a welcome step. So your focus is a much more core focus, which will help you in your articleship and even help you, I'm pretty sure, in scoring really good marks in your exams. Do I need to take separate guidance, or do I need to panic because of the new course? No, you need to be happy because of the new course, because your workload is significantly lower and your scoring chances and probabilities in this already high scoring paper are even higher. So go with a positive momentum, go with a good spirit, and we will crack it in this exam with really good scores. I will share all the PDFs, all the videos with you. Videos would be on YouTube only, and the notes will be shared on our Telegram channel. So if you want, you can just subscribe to the channel, and over the course of the next 1 or 2 weeks, we'll share the notes first, and by the end of this month to early next month, we'll share the videos as well. Till that time, get into the groove, get into the momentum, and start studying for the remaining topics. I'll see you soon with more revision videos and updates. Till then, study well, study hard, and good luck. Bye-bye.